Hi everyone. Welcome to the first couple weeks of 2020. If you're like a lot of us, you're beginning to feel something's happening. You're beginning to feel energies and challenges and confusion. A lot of us, we've been hearing about 2020 is going to bring with it some definite changes and shifts. And who knew exactly what that meant? Well, it's here. So what I want to do is share with you some ideas of how to move through this 2020 with some grace and ease, if possible. So first of all, let's just look at why 2020, what's going on? Well, what's going on is there is an evolution taking place, a human evolution. The body is evolving, and we're at a certain frequency, kind of a very dense frequency you've probably heard of, 3D, 3D, and the body, the earth, all of it is moving into a higher dimension, out of the dense dimension into a less dense dimension, where so much of life will be looked at differently, be experienced differently. But right now, where we are as human beings is we're kind of, most of us right now, we're feeling like there's a tug of war, that there's this feeling of we're still in the life we've been in, that dense energy, but being pulled by the light to a higher vibration. Now, that's the good news, the higher vibration. But the getting there is definitely going to require discipline and courage. So discipline and courage, and to understand that things are going to feel not so comfortable. It may begin for some of us to feel like, what happened? I thought I understood life. I thought I understood how this all worked, and all of a sudden my world's upside down. For others, it can be almost overwhelming on many levels. Our external world, well, it's chaotic. It's definitely uncertain. Oh my goodness, just in the beginning now of 2020, the fires in Australia, the political issues, it's like a lot's coming toward us. So, if you're questioning, which you probably are, what's going on, I don't know what to do, feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, well, welcome to the club. That's what we're feeling right now in 2020. So, what I want to talk about are the things that we can do to assist us through this time, to help ourselves through this time. One of the major shifts is learning, if you haven't already, or improving, or even going deeper within. So it's going within, being focused on the inner, not the outer. What is the inner? The inner is truth. The inner is where our guides lie. The inner is how we move through things. But in the past, not so very long ago, maybe even a year ago, we tend to kind of bounce in and out, inner, outer. Right now, the inner is where we're going to get the help. Right now, the inner is where we're going to get the courage and the discipline. So what do I mean by inner? Well, inner means if you've not heard your guides, if you've not tuned in, this is the time to do it. If you're not using intuition, only maybe occasionally when you have a certain gut feeling once in a while, this is the time to tune into that gut, that sixth sense, that intuition. This is the time to have the discipline and the commitment to, like you've never had before, to move within and listen within. Now, how is this done? Well, it's done by sitting quietly. might want to call it meditation. But then when we say meditation, that word kind of brings up certain ideas or beliefs that we've had around meditation, particularly if you've been a person that says, oh, I tried to meditate and I can't. I don't like calling it meditation, I call it sitting. For some people, sitting quietly, they say, oh my God, I can't do it. I just can't do that. It doesn't work. My mind goes everywhere, yada, yada. And that's true for some. But this is about practice, commitment, as I mentioned, and discipline. And if you've never committed strongly, completely, with total devotion, this is the time to do it. This is the way to get through this. This is the way you're going to understand what's going on, and this is the way you're not going to suffer. So, we're all at different levels, and we all have our different experiences, right? Of sitting, maybe some of you I'm talking to haven't ever even done this or tried it and said, forget it. And you're kind of focused on the outer world, and you're listening to the news, and you're, oh my God, and stressing out. That's not how to get through 2020. No, you don't want to do that because you will suffer like you've never suffered before. So if that's you, then I'm telling you discipline, commitment. And this is how you're going to move through this challenging time gracefully. So basically, here's what's going on without going into a whole lot of detail. It's about evolution right now. We need to evolve out of this dense, very, very dense, energetic frequency that we've been in for a long time. And little by little, we've been coming out of that. Light has been coming in. That's what helps us evolve. For those of us that agreed or volunteered to drop into form, drop into the human body at this time, even though we've forgotten, and some of us are starting to remember, but if you've forgotten why we did this, we agreed to go through to be of service during this very important time of evolving, of helping the human body and helping all move through to a higher level, a lighter level. So we're here for a reason. That's the reason. Now, most of us don't remember making that commitment. Most of us don't remember volunteering. But some of us are starting to remember that. Regardless whether you remember or not, that's why you're here. And so you're here at a very, very, very important time. For many that are guides, are those that are not in form, the angelic realm, all the different realms, they're like our cheerleaders. It's like, almost like, here's how I look at it. I look at it like we have our crew that are working with us. Now we just have to tune in to start hearing this crew. It's kind of like a speed track driver, you know, one of those where they have their crew, they have their hot cars, and have the crew that goes along with them that work on getting those cars ready for the speed, for the, what do we call it? I'm losing the name of what I want. You know, the speed track, the races. And so these crews are aboard on the whole time. During the race, they're there. When you have to stop, when a race driver has to stop and get refueled or whatever he has to do, they're there the whole time that he's in training. They're there by his side from beginning to end. And that's how I kind of look at what's going on with us. We've got our crew that agreed to be our crew. They're not in the form, they're in the other realms. But they're there, and we can know they're there just by tuning in on an inner level. So they are there cheering us on, and they are there making things happen where we can't even see. It's kind of like, another analogy could be like an angel. We're like working like on a chessboard, moving things around, making things happen in a particular way to help us. So we have this crew or this team on board with us. Now, as we're going through this process, it is extremely important that we actually do start tuning in to our crew. It's extremely important that we learn to listen, and because that's what's going to guide us. That's going to help us move through this time in a more graceful and courageous way. So, how do we do that? Right now is commitment and discipline. You've got to be able to sit quietly every day. Every day. Now, for some of you, you'll say it's impossible. I have a family, I have this, I have that. I can't. You've got to. You've just got to find a way to do this, because otherwise it's going to be more challenging than you could ever imagine. It's challenging enough, right? I want to encourage you to do this any possible way you can. Now, some of you may be already meditators using different mantras or the Zen theory or whatever you're doing, and some of you say, I can't meditate, I've tried it, doesn't work, my mind gets busy, I can't quiet down. Okay, I get all that. But by practicing, and this is the thing, if you haven't been a practitioner, you could call it, a practicing human of sitting quietly and tuning into those inner beings that are your crew, then this is the time you have to do that. This is the time. It's like now or never. So I'm supporting you. I want to encourage you to find those times in the day, whether maybe you're at work and you have a lunch hour and you can get in your car at lunch, go park somewhere quiet and just sit in quiet and listen. Maybe you have to get up an hour early, sit in quiet and listen. You want to be able to sit somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour. Less than that's probably not going to work. The closer you can get to an hour, the better, because all of us go through where our mind, first 10 minutes to 20 minutes, to sometimes even more, but as you practice it'll get less. The mind is very busy. So you have to give it time to kind of calm down. Allow it. Don't try to interfere with it. Don't get frustrated. Just sit. And it will eventually quiet down when you're not giving it energy or attention. And while you're sitting, what you start doing is asking within for your guides to come. Invite them in. You want to open your crown chakra. Have an intention that you open the crown chakra as wide as you possibly can. You use the breath to keep you into the body. So the breath meaning you take several deep breaths, inhales, like whistling, exhale. Inhale deeply, completely exhale. Do that slowly, 2 or 3 times, and you'll be back in your body. If you notice that you're out of the body, inhale, exhale, use the breath. These are all little tools to help you. But the commitment and the discipline, if you will just show up each day to sit and have an intention and a commitment to do that, you will begin to see things that you haven't seen, heard, or felt that are all very positive for you. And you will open up for your guides to come in, and they will. They're there all the time. They're talking to us all the time. That's where the intuition is. That's where the knowing is. That's where the help is, if we would just listen. Instead, we tend to sometimes get caught up, for instance, in the outer world, kind of freaking out from what's going on. Maybe something's going on with us and we're freaking out. We stay focused on that outer world because it's so stressful. And at the same time, we're feeling that we have to do something. Now, here's the other part. This is not a time for doing. The reality is there's never a time for doing. But this particular time, if you're trying to be the doer, to fix things, to make things happen, it won't work. It absolutely won't work. And I know this is counterintuitive, but this is where it is. That rather than being the doing, because that will come back to bite you, it will make you suffer, we have to have now the discipline to receive. And this again is in this inner work. It's receiving from our crew, receiving from our team, all of them that are there, that you can't, you're unable to see, but you feel, you connect to. They'll speak to you. And it will sound like your own voice for most of us. It sounds like our own voice, but it's messages coming through. And what you have to learn to do is get comfortable with believing that, with not having the mind say, oh, brother, no, don't tell anybody you're doing it. They'll think you're crazy. No, you'll get comfortable, but you just have to practice. And if you just practice, you're going to get the help. You're going to get the results in terms of feeling more at ease, in terms of knowing which way to go. So this is going to be very, very important in 2020. You don't want to take a bunch of detours in 2020 because it's going to knock you out. It's not unusual right now for many of us to be feeling exhausted and overwhelmed and confused. There's a lot of uncertainty is what it feels like, and that's true. There is, but that's okay. We believe as humans and as our programming has gone on that uncertainty is no good. We got to get certain about something. Well, life is uncertain. It's just as humans, we don't want to feel that way. We look for any kind of way we can to feel certain. Well, that's not where we're at in 2020. Now, which I think we all can do, we get into this inner part, really do the inner work, we're also going to see the other side, meaning the upside of that work, the upside of moving into a higher frequency. Right now we're in such a dense frequency, which we've been in for a long, long time. And right now the light is really coming in and pulling us toward a higher dimension, a whole different way of a reality, of living life in a more, much more pleasing, more comfortable, without tension, without anxiety. It's a shift, a huge shift, and it's not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to say it's easy, it isn't, but here's the deal. If you are here right now in a human body, and you are if you're listening to this, obviously, what happened is you actually volunteered. You volunteered to come in, to drop into the human form at this particular time. That's your purpose. You agreed to really be part of this evolution. When you volunteered to do this, and your crew got put together that were going to not come in with you but are there, the inner beings, you knew what you were getting into then, to some degree. You knew that you were volunteering to come in at a very, very important time. And now you forgot. We forget. That's how it works. That's the game. So we're here and forgot that we volunteered to do this. But as we start to work with the inner beings, we start to work with the inner work, we get disciplined and really stay with the commitment to sit quietly so that we can hear, we can listen, we can know what we're being guided to do. This is when some of us are starting to remember that we volunteered for this time and this is our purpose. It's a very special opportunity for us. It's a gift. We're doing something very important. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's to be taken really, and for what it is. It's an important time in human history. It's a time of evolving, and you're here for that reason. So you want to honor what you agreed to do. So this is what my first, I want to say, I'm wanting to keep it simple as we're into as simple as we can as we enter into this first month of 2020, and really encourage you, give you the incentive, hopefully, to really know that this is the time to go within. Now there's another piece to this. This is also the time to receive. It is not the time to be the doer, or to fix things, or to think that you have to do things to make it work, or to think, in fact, that you have any control. There is nothing to do. There never has been, but this is the time you really want to consciously be aware that every time you think about you've got to do something, to fix something, to make something happen, and you try to do it, it's going to backfire on you. Literally, it's going to backfire on you, and you're going to waste a ton of energy, a ton of frustration, a ton of suffering is what you're going to experience. Now, this is a hard one as well, really hard, because we are programmed to be doers. We have all the beliefs from how we've been programmed and how our environment was as growing up, etc., that you have to do to get. If you don't do, you're not going to get. Isn't that what we believe? And so for some of us, many of us actually, in the last couple years, our doing really wasn't working so well. I kept wondering what's going on. I'm doing this, but it's not working out like I thought it would, or I'm trying this business, but it's not happening if you're an entrepreneur, or I thought this job was going to be my dream job, and it's turned out to be my nightmare job. The doing, the going after, the being proactive, just has been kind of like going downhill for some of us. What I can promise you in 2020, if you continue to try to be the doer and the fixer and the making it happen, you're not going to like it. So, the other challenge, and it is a challenge, no doubt, you have to be the receiver now. You literally have to stop the doing and trust in the receiving, because that's the only way we're getting through it with all of our light beams and our group, our crew, our team that is helping us. All of our inner work that needs to be done is going to happen there, so we have to be open and receiving, open and receiving. And so when we, for instance, go into sitting for the half hour to hour every day, we're talking to our guides. We're listening. We're asking them to come in and help us. We want to hear what they're telling us to do. We want to tap into the intuition that we've not trusted so much and start coming back to life from there. I'm not saying that you're never going to you're not going to get up and go to work or do what you have to do in that way, but that energy that comes at you for thinking you have to fix or do something is the energy that you have to let go of. Now what you're going to get is nudges, instincts, little pushes, go here, do this, but it's going to come from within, not from the ego. You see, the ego gets terrified and is terrified at this moment with all the chaos that's going on in the external world. The ego wants to fix it or take care of itself, or is absolutely terrified something bad is going to be happening, and thinks the only way to stop it is to do. and that's not going to work. So again, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge we're up for. Remember, we volunteered to come in during this time, is to listen within and receive. So again, it's opening that crown chakra. It's talking to our guides, asking for guidance. That's what they're there for. Listening and allowing. And only doing, if you want to call it doing, feeling those nudges, being sensitive to where we're being guided to, being more respectful to our intuition, which means it's that gut feeling, that sixth sense, that just knowing. And oftentimes it feels with that intuition is that it doesn't make sense. You may have friends or family that would tell you you're crazy and what that intuition is leading you toward. It could be something, because I think a lot of us has friends, or we even had that experience. Maybe you, this 2020, you feel you start getting nudged to find another job or to look for a job, or maybe you've even been let go. And you start interviewing and then comes along what looks like the absolutely perfect job for you. It's what your passion's about, what you love doing. It's the right money. It's conveniently located. You like all the people that you've interviewed with, and they're coming in with an offer, a really nice offer for you. But inside of you, you're getting nudged or instinct or feel in your gut or way in back of your mind, this isn't the right job for you. And it doesn't make sense. Why isn't it the right job for me? It's perfect. This isn't the right job for you. That instinct, your intuition, knows something you don't. So here you are at a crossroads. You either accept the job, and you'll see what happens from there, or you listen within, and you do not accept the job, not knowing why you're not, other than you have this sense not to, and then you see what happens from there. The stories that go on about people that have been through this, you've probably heard. Some of them, they accept that job in spite of what they were feeling, and they'll tell you later, I had a gut feeling I shouldn't take it, but I couldn't figure out why. And all my friends said, of course you should take it. And then what happened is, one story is where she took the job, and within about a month, the company was sold, and job was gone. For another person that listened to that intuition and didn't take the job, that job, what happened, and even though their friends and their family were absolutely crazed that she was letting go of that job, saying no to the perfect job, and as it was, something opened up and she got an opportunity that was far beyond, was like, she would have had to work another 10 years, she would have thought, to have gotten this opportunity that opened up for her. So trusting that inner part, but part of the trusting is practice, meaning learning to listen. Learning to listen and really getting in touch with your guides and feeling their energy around you and supporting you is such a big part of what we have to do in order to really, when I say have to do, what we want to do is really, it's practice. It's like anything else. It's like if you're going to be a majorly good athlete, you got to practice. People that do ice skating, that love ice skating and want to become professionals, they're up at 5 o'clock every morning practicing on that ice. It's got to be that kind of commitment right now for 2020 to yourself. It's to yourself, but it's also to all of those that are betting on you, that you volunteered, and you have that team now, and it's to the those that will come behind you. It's an extremely important time. The upside is if you'll do this, if you really commit and you start moving through the density, you're going to find yourself on the other side of this, which will open up to another realm, another reality. Now one last thing that I'll leave you with, which is really important, and again a challenge, I'm not saying it isn't, but is really practicing to be in your now moment. It's almost like you put blinders on, like a horse has blinders on. You're not bringing the past and you're not going to the future, you're just in the now moment. Being in touch with what are you feeling in the now moment, and some of it can feel very uncomfortable, but not allowing yourself to pull stuff from the past or push into the future. There is no past or future. Everything happens in the now. You know that. But it's a practice. Again, I can't, don't know how to better explain this. And maybe as time goes on, I'm going to find better ways. That we are in this time of commitment to practice. Commitment to our inner work, like never before. We're here at a very important time. We committed and volunteered to come in at this time. And it's very important we live up to our commitment. So, I think that's it for today. Hopefully this was able to shine some light on maybe what's going on for you right now in your world. If you liked this video, please click like, and please subscribe to the video. That way you'll hear when new videos come up, and if you press that, tap on that little bell that's on the side of where you subscribe, then you'll definitely be informed as new videos are coming up. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. You're brave. You're courageous. We all are. Take care.